Now, I'm going to start this video a little differently. I notice a lot of you guys are new viewers who are watching these reviews, so
Subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Subscribe to my channel.
anyway, with that out of the way, let's get on with the review. Now, you probably think after calling the last episode mid that I would think this episode's mid too, because, well, nothing really happens in it. Kinda, sorta. But I actually think that this is one of the best episodes in Chainsaw Man.
Impossible.
Unlike last episode where we had a bunch of cliche backstory flashbacks, this episode we had a lot of characterization and I fucking loved it. In this episode, we were shown how much these characters were affected by events in the past, especially with Aki and Himeno, and a little bit of Denji. Power was just a chaotic neutral member of the group. She just didn't care how things turned out. She was just cracking jokes left and right and just like, oh, just feed Denji to the Eternity Devil. Who gives a shit? I want to become Prime Minister. But yeah, Aki and Himeno, they really stole the show this episode. And Denji too a little bit at the end. Instead of being shown a flashback and going on with our day, we actually understand how important that scene was to Aki. Taking a stab wound for Denji, even though he doesn't like him, just so he could possibly get back at the Gun Devil. Himeno just being calm throughout the entire episode and just going absolutely batshit after finding out that they don't have a guaranteed method of getting out of here. Also, what's up with that sword? Is that sword just super OP or something? I want to see Aki use that sword.
That's what she said.
Even when Himeno was calm, I thought she was like a really cool and interesting character, showing how much she cared about Aki. Or maybe not Aki in particular, probably just her partners, and she just doesn't want to fail again. That's probably the situation that's happening right now. She doesn't want to be deemed a failure by all the people related to her partner. And I find that really interesting. I mean, we could infer from the last episode that's how she felt, but we didn't really know how strongly she felt that until episode 6, until this episode. In my opinion, you gotta show how strong these emotions are before throwing a bunch of cliche backstories at me. But looking back now, with all these emotions clearly defined, these backstory scenes hold up a lot more. I just wish that this was executed better, honestly. Maybe rearranging the scenes in a way where you show the backstory after certain events happen, like Himeno going crazy and all that. Maybe rearranging the scenes in that way would help the story flow a little bit better, but that's just my opinion. I just still have issues with how the last episode was executed. But this episode was totally fine. This episode was great, in fact. Having a really interesting mystery to solve throughout the entire episode really captivated me. It kept me on my toes the entire time, even though nothing was happening. Of course, the animation, superb once again. I don't think I have to say that every single review, but I feel like people will forget the fact that I like the animation. The characters, with how little screen time we see with some of them, have been defined really excellently with this episode. Even that little girl, what's her name again? I forget. Kobeni. Kobeni was fucking great. It was the exact opposite of Denji. She was just overreacting to everything, having panic attacks all over the place. Whenever she was in danger, she just cried immediately. And we don't even know that much about her. We just know the fact that she was forced into this business by her parents, which is stupid and cruel. And I would like to see that way more than I would like to see Aki's backstory. I think Kobeni's backstory might be a lot more interesting than Aki's, oh, my parents were killed by this big bad. Oh, I feel so bad for you. I definitely haven't seen that before. But Aki standing up for Denji this entire episode was really cool to see. And learning later that it was because of his fixation with the Gun Devil, that was the reason why he was protecting Genji this entire... Genji. Fucking hell, it happened again. Seeing how that was the reason why he protected Denji this entire time was really interesting to learn at the end of the episode. And dude, Denji was such a cool badass at the end of this episode. Oh my gosh, dude, just walking to the Eternity Devil just like, oh, you want me? You can have me. I'm gonna torture you so bad that you're gonna let us go. Bro, oh my gosh, this is gonna be great. This next episode, we're gonna see a lot of cutting, a lot of tearing, and a lot of guts, and it's gonna be amazing. But yeah, man, the mystery really helped this episode a lot. It played into a lot of suspenseful scenes, and Yeah, even though nothing was happening in certain scenes, the characterization, the writing, it really carried it. The pacing was excellent this episode. I can't. I'm starting to understand why episode 5 took place. But again, can you just rearrange the order a little bit so that we don't have to sit through all of their backstories in one go? Anyway, my final score for this episode, it's probably a 10 out of 10. It's so good, dude. This episode was able to stand by itself really excellently, just like the first episode. I feel like you can watch this episode by itself and just appreciate every single bit of this story with this one episode. Same thing goes for episode 1. I think these 2 episodes are really good in terms of their pacing, writing, and characterization. Everything was amazing about this episode. I can't stress it enough. If you haven't watched this episode yet, anyway, that's it from me. See you guys.